Well, I kept trying to post a story and it didn't work out, so I guess I'll have to tell a story of my own. So this is a dark web horror story and it's going to be pretty bloody and disturbing, so this is a warning. If you get disturbed by death and gore, then please leave now. So here's the story. I'm one of those kids that always been fascinated by the internet and liked learning hacking. A year or so ago, I was talking to my friend whose names I would not disclose, so let's call him Bob. Me and Bob were talking about the internet and he brought up the dark web. I only had a little knowledge about it at the time and I was very interested in about how it works. He said he go on it sometimes and I'm like, well, how do you surf the dark web? He said, I don't recommend it, but I'll show you how to get a Tor and a VPN to change your IP address every minute or so. He goes on to say, I don't think you should do this, but obviously the ADHD part of me wanted to go along with it. So I go home and get it all set up. I just want to say that I would never go back to the dark web after the experience because holy crap, it was so horrible. I just want to say for those of you who think the dark and deep web is a search engine, it's not. It's a hidden wiki with a bunch of onion links. Now, me being the stupid 15-year-old I am, I started clicking on the links. Most of them were sites like Silk Road wannabes, but most of them were CP, which I'll never get out of my mind after witnessing the horrors I've seen clicking on some of those links. But one of them was so bad, so gruesome, that I had nightmares for weeks. I still have them and it's going on a month later. So here's when the story gets terrifying. I click on a link that I would not say because I don't want anyone else to see the things that I've seen. But I click on a link and a chat box pops up in the bottom right of my screen. It said, choose a name. So I put Anonymous or 1. When I was done, I was able to see people start to chat in the chat room. They were all very excited about whatever the hell was about to happen. There was dim blackness on my screen and then it turns to a video of a man wearing a mask looking extremely excited. Finally, he spoke. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a very special surprise with 3 new attractions. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Then it starts to happen. A man with a mask rolls in a lady on a cart and she's tied down with duct tape over her mouth. Immediately, the blood drains from my face. The host then says, okay, it's time to vote. Whoever donates the biggest amount of bitcoins get to choose how this lady died. It was something along the lines of 50 or so bitcoins for a saw. And I kid you not, the bastards got a saw and cut through her, starting between her legs and up to her head. She died immediately from what I believe was sheer pain. I threw up my guts. I started to cry. They then brought someone else out. It was a man in his 40s screaming under the duct tape. I tried to leave, but I was locked in there and it wouldn't let me exit. The host started the voting again and it became 45 bitcoins to use a torture device and then beat him with a baseball bat. The torture device was horrible. It was a pear-shaped thing, and they put it up his you-know-where. They twisted a screw and it expanded, ripping the man's anus apart. He wasn't dead yet, but he was bleeding profusely, pooling a puddle of blood beneath him. Soon after, they got the baseball bat with nails on it, and they beat him until he was unrecognizable. I wanted to leave so bad, but it just wasn't letting me. Not so long after that, they brought another woman out. This woman was in her 20s or 30s. The host starts the voting poll again and someone donated 61 bitcoins to see this woman get assaulted. The participant paid and they followed through with the request as well as to rip all of the hair out of her head and then beat her in the head with a hammer. It was all the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. I wanted to die. I was home alone, and at that time, I was screaming and crying to myself. I'm not even going to go into detail about it because it mentally messes me up when I do. After it was over, the host said, okay, we have one more surprise for you guys. The chat went insane. I didn't say anything in the chat and someone noticed it. "Hey, Anonymous01, why haven't you said anything? Aren't you enjoying the show?" At that moment, I frantically unplugged every single thing connected to the computer. I ran to go hide in my closet crying, not even getting a wink of sleep for days after that. Word of advice? Don't go on the dark web. Take heed to the stories of the people that were dumb enough to go there. This place is of unspeakable horrors and is not worth the risk of your sanity. I assume you all know about the dark web, where everything you heard about it is most likely true. After hearing the countless stories about what people find in this place, I let my curiosity get the better of me and started doing some digging of my own. I started my adventure into the dark web around a month ago. The process was relatively simple. I work in IT, so it really wasn't that hard finding my way around the browser. After the many stories I've heard of horrible consequences that people have faced after visiting this part of the internet, I made sure that I covered all of my tracks. I installed the highest rated VPN I could find, unplugged my webcam, and just in case things I've heard about people who visit these sites are true, I kept all of my windows and doors around my home locked and enabled my security cameras. After seeing a large variety of gore videos and case files about missing people and murders that were never solved, I eventually got bored. I wanted more. I started to venture deeper and deeper. After spending countless hours in copying and pasting links, breaking down firewalls, etc., I finally got what I wanted. The first page displayed an endless list of links. The first one was a step-by-step guide on how to prepare and eat a deceased human being. As I journeyed down the relentless list, each one gradually becoming more disturbing the further I go down. My adventure through this horrific site was about to come to an end until a particular link caught my eye. The link consisted of a long line of random collection of different characters I was planning on scrolling past until I noticed the word "live" written in a small red font. It started off with black and white footage of a man walking around some woodland. After the first 5 minutes of nothing interesting was happening, the chat on a live stream was mainly quiet. Most of the viewers spoke a different language anyway. After 10 minutes of this strange man lurking around his property, he stumbled across a hedge. It was around 6 feet tall and reasonably neat. As he got closer, the feeling of realization came over me. This place started to become more familiar. After 30 seconds of watching the streamer scramble through the hedge, I now knew where the footage was coming from. My back garden. From my monitor, I could see everything. My lawn, the vegetable patch I recently planted, and above the conservatory was my bedroom window. There I sat in front of my computer screen, completely unaware of the events yet to come. My heart started to race. Sweat began to fall from my forehead, which later soaked up my mouse pad. I could see at the bottom corner the chat started to blow up. People from everywhere around the world were requesting for this man to do unspeakable things to me. I closed my curtain immediately after reading the sinister requests put in by the thousands of viewers. As I grabbed my phone to call the police, a deep echoing voice came through the speakers of my monitor. "I wouldn't do that if I were you," he said. I froze. My hands started to tremble, causing me to release my phone. I checked the monitor again. He was now standing outside my back door. The hairs on my legs began to stand up on edge as if trying to escape from my pants. All of a sudden, a voting poll appeared on the screen. There was 2 options. Both involved a gruesome way to torture me. I sat there, eyes glued to the screen, unable to move as the viewers began their vote. As the voting continued, the man outside found a key under the vase and made his way inside. I grabbed the closest object next to me and waited for the maniac to come up to the flight of stairs leading to my room. There was a notification on my computer. The voting was over. It looked like the moments leading up to my death had gathered a large audience of psychopaths who couldn't wait to see what this man would do horrifically to my body. I could now hear him approaching the door. Each step he took caused my heart rate to speed up. Then he spoke from outside of my door. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. Sorry for the wait. Good evening, everyone. This is Yuri K, and this is the end of the video. Please leave a comment and let us know your opinions on the matter. If you happen to like this content, please check out our other videos. Make sure you like and share amongst your friends and family to help our community grow. You happen to be new to this channel? Please make sure you subscribe. It's free and you can always change it in the future. You have some terrifying story suggestions? If so, make sure that you send it to my email, fearofthedarkstories@gmail.com, and I'll feature it in a future segment. But you guys stay safe out there, and remember to always be afraid of the dark.